but I've learned that they weren't defeats, they were delays. And they were crafted to force me to grow that I didn't know needed to be developed. These delays, quote unquote, are imminent, and they're a part of the process for them. And remember, once again, that vision will manifest itself at the right time. What seems like a delay is where you have an opportunity to adjust, and many people abandon the vision at this critical point because they believe that they failed. You do not fail unless you quit. This is where you're going. Change will certainly come. I've definitely encountered my share of obstacles taking on a city that was plagued with generational and institutional corruption and mismanagement. There is no easy fix. When I was first elected, came into a city, we had a $43 million. We had about 40% of our employees on furlough. Our unemployment rate was over 19%. Our had peaked, and we know that we knew that we changed directions and that we needed to do something different, but we didn't even have the resources to make that pivot. So what I did was I assessed what were the critical that needed our attention and resources, and then I directed the organization, and also the biggest thing I did was collaboration, bringing stakeholders together for this vision. Next, please. Tackling change, challenging the status quo. I've been in positions where the status quo is the overarching culture in. And in order to understand how to navigate, we have to be able to understand that the vision will lay out where we need to go, and that the stakeholders that come together and that are a part of that vision create the momentum to go over that obstacle. It's a key indicator that you're on the right track to affect change. If you aren't encountering resistance, you aren't challenging systems and paradigms, and you're keeping things moving. I want to share a quick story about our gang intervention efforts. When I came into in 2013, crime had spiked, a resource drain, and I hire additional police. I had to we employed the resources that we had, and so this group, we brought a team together, we for a strategy, we worked that strategy, and when we got to the need to bring additional people in, I called, and because of the work that we had done on the ground, gang members in my community, they were willing to come to our city and sit down in our community center and talk about where we needed to go as a community, about what their issues were. They talked about what they needed to succeed. They talked about what kept them from being a positive part of society, and most importantly, they talked about what their vision was for their families. And that found the because at the end of the day, we all wanted a healthy, vibrant, prosperous community, and they just didn't know how to navigate their challenges in order to be a positive contribution. And so we set out, I challenged them that if they keep crime low, then we can bring additional in. We were successful in bringing in 500 companies in our city, which in turn created 1,000 jobs in our community. We hired ex-gang members and trained them. Thank you. Great pause. But we were able to train them in the field of construction. We gave them leadership development, life skills, and we completed those steps, and we dispatched them in different ways for them to be successful. To this day, they are still thriving. They're earning great livable lives, taking care of their family. Hope is restored. Community crime is still at historic. And when I tell you that we did not spend an additional dollar policing, it's just amazing. It can manifest when people are on one page with one vision together. And I just now, of course, who can come against the movement, right? But of course, there were people that happen. There were political opposition, people that want to see our city transform, and so we program, and it was eventually politically, and I was able through collaboration to bring in a new partner to fund that program even greater than it was, and the action is still going forward in our community. And so that's just a prime example that it's not your resources, but if you have that vision, you connect, buy in, you have the momentum, then you can achieve results. want to talk about collaboration. Collaboration is your force multiplier. It's the only way to maintain momentum. It's critical to tap into your leadership. Staying connected is the only way to keep your momentum focused. Empowering people is critical. We have to combat the urge to the pinnacle of your leadership. The more leaders that your team will be, and the further that you can go, and the more results that you can attain. It's equipping one another. The more people that are on program, the more people bring more resources, the broader your leadership, and you'll be able to continue to multiply those efforts. It's about multiplication. Benefits. Overcome your knowledge gaps. You can overcome your drains. You can strengthen the skills of your organizations and capacity shortcomings. And most critically, you can expand your perspective. And that will ensure that you are able to to shrewdly navigate where you need to go. One action point, I just want to encourage, regardless of where you are, regardless of what you do, of potential stakeholders that can help fill the need or fill the role in where you are trying to go. And I'll share a quick story. One of the efforts that we are working on in our community was really to have all of our resources in one place. The city, as I said, was at a huge, we didn't have the luxury of just creating or resources, and so we relied on collaboration. Of having a vision and having great stakeholders that came on board, we were able to create a resource that is in turn servicing our community, have generated over $20 million in grant funding collaboratively that in turn services our community. And again, this was at no additional cost to the city. When I think about how faith has helped really lead my role, it's the foundation of who I am. And when I think about key aspects of what a great leader is, I find myself to be an accomplished or a significant leader like John Maxwell or other people, but I think that everyone has an awesome opportunity to affect change wherever they are. And that effective change, affecting 3 people, or you're working in youth ministry and you're affecting, or whether it's thousands, having in someone's life is just a great way to your time. And as we heard earlier, it's a great way to just be a part of God's mission in your life. When I talk about the gospel, many of us, we're in to wear the gospel on your sleeve, just be an effective integrity, to be who you say that you are, to do what you're going to do. That's the biggest witness that you ever can have. And God desires to partner with all of us in the earth. We are his instruments. And the greatest impact and witness believers can have is how we live, what we do on a daily basis. Be that light, affect that change, and be unapologetic of it. And the funny thing, when we think about Christ as the light of the world, we're the light, but light doesn't shine, it just shines. And even the deepest of light radiates, and it cannot be hidden. Our faith requires us to give God glory. I'm grateful that he uses all, and we're all interconnected. We're all members of the body. And so as you all embark your journeys, think about how you can utilize vision as a vehicle to affect change, how you can use vision to overcome your obstacles, how you can use vision to create momentum, how you can use vision as that vehicle for collaboration, and ultimately that you can use vision to direct change. Thank you all for that.
Good morning, everybody. We did this a couple times on day 1, and I'd like to take another strategic pause. Hit that pause button, let's ponder, let's reflect. There's so much good material, it can kind of be like drinking from a fire. So let's just take a moment to step and think about what we've heard from 2 amazing leaders today, from Chris and from Asia, mirroring and getting a hard no tactical empathy or the importance of vision for Asia. What we want you to do right now, and for the next couple of minutes, think about one thing from one of these leaders you can apply, whether you want to go back in your notes, ponder, meditate, let that soak in to do that. It's refreshing to look in the audience, and this is happening at the host sites and globally as well. People with their eyes closed, they're just taking in that one thing that they've learned from the speakers this morning. But now, put it into action. How will you integrate this one thing into your life? Take another minute and think about that. I hope you're recharged, taking your world. I've heard from many of you that you've really enjoyed these strategic pauses, and I just want to say thank you for participating. And it's time.
of rejection be less painful? Believe. Is it more destructive than we know? Jia Zhang grew up in China and migrated to the United States at 16. After many years in the corporate world, Zhang took life-altering risk and stepped into entrepreneurship, which resulted in everyone's biggest rejection. This saved the path to his true calling, to conquer the rejection. Owner of and CEO of Wu Yu Learning, best-selling author of Rejection Proof, beat fear and became invincible through 100 days of rejection. Please welcome Zhang to the summit.
All right. Rejection. How many of you like rejection? Raise your hand. Anyone? Oh, I got a couple. Gifts. Raise your hand. Cool. I hope all of you. I love gifts, but I didn't like gifts growing up. Why? Well, I grew up in Beijing, China. I had a pretty good childhood. But my first grade teacher came with a brilliant idea. Brilliant. Us to not only get gifts, but also of compliment each other at the same time. So she bought all of us gifts and stacked them. She said, why don't all of you come to the front of the class and say nice things about each other? If you someone else, go get a gift and sit down. What a great idea, right? Well, it was great. Every time I heard someone else's name, I'll be like, yay, when's my turn? Then there were 20 people left. At the end, there were 3 kids left. No more compliments. And I was, at that moment, I didn't want anymore. I didn't want to compliment anymore. I just wanted down. I was crying. I really have no idea why no one would say anything nice about me. Cool. I thought I was a popular kid. Then I saw